The project began about a year and a half ago. We've been in planning and then permitting phases, and then this summer we completed the construction. We've got 3.5 miles of reef that has now got large lime rock boulders on top of it. We've got oyster shell, and this is designed both to stabilize the reef sediments, increase the elevation back to what it used to be, and then also have a substrate that's attractive for oysters and other reef associates to settle upon. The idea behind restoring Lone Cabbage Reef was not simply to restore oysters. The idea was to rebuild a structure that used to be there that used to help impound water, fresh water, near the coast and keep those salinities intermediate. That's the big payoff. The oyster reef itself might only be 33 or 40 acres. The actual area that we think we're affecting by those salinities is many hundreds of thousands of acres. Construction cost was around $3.8 million, and all of the contractors were local. This is one of the win-win things about restoration, is that you're creating construction jobs. That's the short term. The longer term, though, is probably the much bigger payoff. Oyster reefs have a lot of different ecological services that, if you had to buy them on the open market, would be worth many millions of dollars, probably per year. The thing that's really somewhat unique about this particular restoration is that we are using the oyster reef as a hydrological tool. We're using it to shunt water around and go where we want it to go. Unlike building a concrete structure, which you have to keep adding to as sea level rises, oyster reefs can keep up with sea level rise. They grow upwards at a rate that is much faster than sea level rise. We may have a great need to engineer our estuaries in the future in response to rising seas and changing climate, and using oyster reefs to do that is great. We've done a lot of measurement before we put the reef in, but this is really where we get to see what happens to salinity, what happens to oysters, and maybe even what happens to fish and birds. So we're excited about it.